Hello again, dear friends of volleyball. Today in Amor por Volleyball, Love for Volleyball, I am honored to welcome one of the most prominent figures in modern international volleyball, a key pillar of the Slovenian national team and a world-class middle blocker. He has built a career defined by resilience, tactical intelligence, and a constant pursuit of excellence. From his early days in ACH volley to reaching the pinnacle for European club volleyball in Italy and Poland, and embarking also on a new venture in Japan with the Tokyo Great Bears, our guest has constantly proven why he belongs among the elite. A three-time European silver medalist and recently named the best middle blocker in the 2025 VNL, he represents the golden generation of Slovenian volleyball. It's a true pleasure for me to speak with Jan Kozamernik. Welcome, Jan. How are you?
Thank you so much for a nice introduction. I'm good, thanks.
Fantastic. I want you, as I told you outside camera, start with your beginning in volleyball. Looking back at your childhood in Ljubljana, how did volleyball first enter your life? What was it your first choice, or did you explore other sports before starting your place in the net?
Yeah, so it's been quite some time I'm playing volleyball. So, but my beginnings actually were purely of like trying with my best friends, because my best friends used to so I wanted to be with them, and I basically, like, throughout my elementary school I used to play to do gymnastics, to play different sports. I was trying a lot of different sports in school, but volleyball was never my key focus. And to be honest, in my early days I played a lot of football. It was one of my, let's say, passions when I was young, and I was also pretty successful goalkeeper. But in one moment it was just became too, let's say, not boring, but I didn't have this feeling of fulfillment, and I tried to search something where I can be with the people I like to spend the time with, and volleyball was, let's say, connecting those dots. So I basically started playing volleyball because of my best friends, and to be honest, I started to play probably one of the last guys that started to play, and now my friends stopped and I'm still playing, so is interesting. But yeah, volleyball basically became part of my life, but I never envisioned volleyball to be such a important part of my life, to basically be my, let's say, work in pleasure, because I always, like, in my mind, I always had this idea to go to university, finish my degree, and then try to work in some of the big companies in my industry, or maybe work in my father's company. So the road was pretty clear. But then when I was studying at university, I already got a few phone calls to go play in Italy. I was, let's say, pretty young at this stage to make this decision. But talking with my parents, and also, like, my personal decision was that I want to finish the university. So I stayed in Slovenia with Ljubljana, with ACH Ljubljana for quite some time. And when I finished, then my professional career began. I said I will try, and we will see what happens.
Fantastic. And you're an electric engineer.
Yes, exactly.
You put all your mind in the game. It's fantastic. And tell me, please, when did you start thinking about to being a professional? You told me right now about your start to study, but a decision to be a professional player, it's not so easy, especially for people in my country. We live very far in the far south of the world, and volleyball is not a professional sport to think about to make a career, a life. And I always was very impressed that in Slovenia, your country is very small. Volleyball is so important, and volleyball is so big, and you have achieved so many things. Combining all this, how was it for you and for your friends, for your family, to say, okay, bye bye, I take my suitcase, I'm going to play volleyball around the world?
Yeah, it was actually was a decision of let's try and see because after finishing my university, like the degree, I said like, okay, now I have my education, and in the worst case, if things don't go like I wish they will go, I can always go back to finding a job. If I miss 1 year now, it's nothing. Nothing will help. Nothing will happen. So for me, it was like a, let's say, a no risk scenario. I wanted to experience volleyball because I experienced it on the highest level in Slovenia. I was also playing the Champions League, so I saw what the top level volleyball meant. I played against a lot of really good teams. I remember actually playing against Resovia in Champions League, and I was after the game, the game was full of people. There was a full gym. I say, oh my God, I want to play. One time in a that this will be my home gym. That I will have so many fans cheering for me. And yeah, of course, later on it happened. But I think the national team had a pretty big role in all this because I had the opportunity, let's say, to be in a right spot at the right time when one of the middle blockers in Slovenia got injured. I was on the long list and they decided to call me. And like my first year when I was in the national team, I actually, like, this was 2014. I didn't really play. I was there. I was on the long list. I was on the couple of games too because one of the middle blockers was sick. I went to travel with them to Greece, but I was only a substitution. And later on, I got more experience, and in 2015, I became a pretty important part of the team. Let's say I was playing a lot in the European Championship where we won our first medal. And this, I think, paved the road to me, actually. Like, it opened the doors for me to decide, okay, this can actually be my career, this can actually be my profession. But I still had to finish the university. So this was the year where I had some good successes, but I also had to, like, put my head down and finish the university and say, okay, this now it's interesting, it's good, I have the opportunity, but I also, let's be smart, let's not throw away the university. And I decided like this, and I think I made the best decision I could have made. So I'm like more relaxed now when I'm playing volleyball. I know I have something there waiting for me, even if it's been really long time since that degree was in use. But it's a nice thing to have this security. But yeah, it was I think a bit of passion and opportunity that put me in the right spot at the right time, and I think I used my opportunity pretty well. So
I know that the former Olympic champion Ivan Mirkovic from Serbia, he has a lot to do and to say and to write about this thing, the post player era. It's very interesting what you're saying. I wanted to ask you now about your national experience. You have won several medals, but what until now has been the most emotional or most important tournament for you? Sometimes you play, you didn't win, but you feel comfortable, or sometimes you win and didn't play so well. But for you, until now, what has been the most significant championship you have played?
yes, we had a lot of emotional moments. Let's say there has been a lot of struggles in our national team through the years. We were fighting to be on the map of the whole volleyball world, and it was difficult sometimes, but it was really ecstatic and amazing also. So now the journey started a long time ago. Like I said, 2014, 2015 were the first seasons I played there, and to be honest, to win this European League that we won, that was supposed to qualify us for the second group of World League, and then to all this process about being qualified for the World League, and then the World League finished, and Then we qualified for the VNL again and played it for the first time in 2021. This was, I think, one of the most difficult roads for us, but at the same point, really enjoyable. And I think because of all this effort that we put, the 2019 home European Championship that we played, I think this was one of the highlights of my career, to play in this gym of Stožice, full, like the tickets were sold out. I remember for the semi-final that we played against Poland, the tickets were sold out in 58 seconds or something like this. Things like this, I think, stay with you, and the people really appreciated the effort that we were giving through all of the years. And of course, I think lastly was playing the Olympics. This was our dream. Even before me, I remember the guys like even 10, 15 years before me were already talking about wanting to play the Olympics, and it actually happened. And to be part of this, to be in the quarterfinals of the Olympic Games, in the end finish fifth in the Olympic Games, is a remarkable achievement for such a small country that we are. And I feel extremely proud of this. So yeah, I think this would highlight it.
Also, you won against the Olympic champion. That was also an amazing game. Very strange thing to happen, but you won the Olympic champion.
Exactly. No, it was crazy. But I don't know if in this moment we actually knew it or not, but maybe the road, if we lost against them, for us would be a bit easier. But of course, in this moment, you don't think about winning or losing, like the calculations.
Yes.
You just want to win. You just want to play the best that you can. And in the end, you can, let's say, you can pour yourself a glass and say, I did everything I could. I left everything on the court. And in this moment, Poland that beat us in the quarterfinals was playing really amazing volleyball. And
Yes.
I think is nice to say, like you said, we won against the Olympic champion. In the end, they have the gold medal, we don't, but still, it gives you some nice memories.
Fantastic. And in regards of your volleyball international career, what motivated you to decision to move to Japan, especially in Japan? They have a defensive oriented style of playing, very, very fantastic defensive style, movement and technique. And you're a middle blocker. Middle blocker, we associate it always with European volleyball style, with tall guys playing in the middle. How was it for you, or maybe what motivated you to move to this far and different kind of volleyball?
Yeah, I guess it's a honest question to ask, and to be honest, it was let's say a mixture of things, because like you said, Japan is let's say in a moment of growth in the volleyball sense. The league is growing. They rebranded the league a couple of years ago, and it's been oriented in the NBA style, marketing wise, and it's been doing really good from the marketing perspective. The people are coming to the games. It's been really nice. So one of the things that motivated me to do this was obviously my family, because I got offered a 3-year contract, and 3-year contracts in volleyball or in general in sports are rarely, you come across them rarely. And we just had a baby. Obviously, I was also injured before this, and for me to get a 3-year contract was a really big motivation, because you, let's say, settle down in one place. You don't need to move. I think one of the most stressful parts that is not really talked about is moving all the time. You need to pack basically 2 times per year. For us that we live abroad, you need to move your whole life after the season back to Slovenia, and then from Slovenia to a new place. So this motivated me to think about it and say, okay, this will be my home for 3 years, is a big factor. Like also now we are at the end of the season, and I'm not thinking about how I need to pack everything, because I know I'm coming back next year. I just know I need to take the most necessary stuff and come back next year. And the second thing, obviously, was volleyball in general is evolving in this fast style of play. Everybody tries to play as fast as possible, and Japan was, let's say, famous for this style of volleyball. And for me, as a middle blocker, I was thinking, okay, of course, it's different than the European style, but volleyball is going in this direction. And for me to stay on the top, or let's say to be able to block against this fast game, playing in a league like this, for sure, for me will be beneficial. So from volleyball perspective, this was one of the things that made me decide. Obviously, I was coming to also to a club that had big ambitions to try to climb the leaderboard to standing and try to win the championship at some point in the future. And being in projects like this makes me excited. I'm a person who wants to build something, who wants to create something, and to be able to do that and to win is amazing. So I accepted this, and of course was also, like, economical wise, was a good offer for me, better than Europe. So in the end, when all these things click, it's actually an easy decision, and my wife also approved of it, and we made a decision together. So we were really happy to do it.
Sometimes what the wife says is the most important thing in life.
To be honest, she was the first person I asked.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
And Jan, and for me, we can now see so much games via internet, via YouTube, and Japan volleyball is a game where the ball never touched the ground. It's absolutely amazing. The defense, what you say, the speed of volleyball, and also we can see some tall European or foreign players of very good talent playing in Japan. And I wanted to ask you about being middle blocker, because I also played as a middle blocker many years ago in the 80s in Chile, and for me especially, being able to pass, to defend, and also many times to attack from the back row was very special. Today, a middle blocker goes to the serve, and if you rotate, you must go out, and the libero replace you. How is it for you to be a middle blocker today? Maybe knowing that before your position was maybe more universal style, like the actual middle blocker player in this time.
Yeah, actually, I never really thought about it in this depth. I did have Andrea Gianni as a coach, and he was a middle blocker in this time where middle blockers were also receiving, and he was telling us about this, and basically being a middle blocker was the most universal role, that you needed everything. You needed the strength, you needed the precision, you needed the technical ability, and I think now this let's say change to play with the libero, I think makes it more accessible for more players, more talent to be on the court, because from one side, liberos can be shorter, they don't need to jump, so it's a let's say a more easier physical role than let's say middle blocker. And on the other hand, you have middle blockers who can be more physical and less technical, and can still play on this level because they can use the height. So I think it's beneficial from the whole perspective of volleyball. It makes the game also more on point. It makes it more efficient, because you have basically one role that is represented by two players. So yeah, I think it's now it is how it is, and I don't think it will change in the near future. But for me, I got used to it. I got used to playing like this. Of course, in the beginning, it's strange because you spend half of the game outside. But I also like it because as a middle blocker, you have to have a lot of information. You have to transfer a lot of information to your teammates, and actually being on the bench, you can talk with the staff. They can give you some indication what is working, what is not working. So I try to use it as much as possible. It's for sure one one aspect that helps me perform better and to actually stand out of the court for a moment and then come back in. You come with a fresh mind, fresh ideas, which is beneficial, I think, in some moments, especially when things are not going how you wish.
Very interesting what you're saying. And what do you think about the Japanese league? It's just very different from the European league. Is the crowd different from the European league? How until now is your experience? Because I watched, for example, some old games in Japan, and when they served, the Japanese crowd shouted something in Japanese. I don't know how it's today, but do you feel that in Japan the volleyball, especially from the crowd, is different viewed as in other countries?
I think, no, for sure. The culture here around cheering and everything is a bit different than the European style, or let's say, I would pretty much say rest of the world,
Okay.
because this, let's say, Asian style, because I think China is similar to this.
Mhm.
Uh, it's more like try to give the support to your players all the time. There's no screaming, no crazy cheering like in the in the European, or let's say in the other part of the world. But it for sure gives you a lot of support. The Japanese fans show it to you through social media, outside of the court. They wait in front of the gym. They want to support the players. But there is also this distance that the clubs create for the safety of the players, because there is a lot of fans, and especially the Japanese players experience a lot of support, and I think sometimes this can be also stressful. So the clubs try to protect the players, but playing wise here, I think is amazing. It's of course it's a bit more demanding because we play so many games.
Mhm.
We play just for all. We play 44 games in regular season, so this is from a player's perspective. It's a bit more demanding,
Yes.
but I actually like this style of playing 2 games in a row and then have the whole week off. It gives you time to rest, time to reset. But yeah, it's a lot. I think now when we are after the regular season, I think the players already feel the energy is lacking sometimes. So you need to be smart how you do that.
Okay. And turning back to your youth, do you have some inspirations, or as a teenager you started to play volleyball and you saw, for example, some international or national players do you wanted to emulate, or maybe not? In my country, we saw over the mountains and we saw the Argentinian, the Brazilian players, and we wanted to play like them. Do you have some inspiration, or maybe a coach that gives you some ideas to play like?
So I was, to be honest, I started playing volleyball pretty late, and this actually kept me a bit away from this volleyball world. I didn't really know the famous players at this time when I started to play in the, let's say, in the Slovenian league. I basically didn't know any of the international stars, and when I started to play in the first team in Ljubljana, I started to play also with the players who played in Italy or Poland, and they, of course, started to give me some information, give me some ideas. I also had one coach in the youth teams in Ljubljana that basically took us to the World Championship in Italy. I think maybe it was 2009. 2009. I don't remember if it was correct or no. But there was a group stage played in Trieste, Italy,
Okay.
and I remember we went to watch these games. And this was actually my first experience of the high level volleyball that I saw, and yeah, was really exciting to see it. And no, after this, I was never really starstruck by any of the players. I never had an idol that I would say I want to be like him, or I was always trying to just improve my game, focus on myself, and not really think too much about anything else. But obviously, I think this came from perspective that I never really wanted directly to be a professional volleyball player. So I think it influenced me how I was living this young years in the volleyball world.
I understand. And in 2025, you were named the best middle blocker of the VNL and ranked among the top 10 players in the world. How do you handle this level of recognition? Does it change the way you approach your training, or maybe it's the same for you, but with this big thing in your mind?
No, it's amazing. I felt really grateful, and I still feel really grateful that I had the opportunity, to arrive to this level. Because many of the people try every day, but never arrive to this moment. So I feel very grateful, and I didn't take it with an let's say I don't know how take it for granted. I didn't take it for granted. I don't think it changed anything how I work. I obviously want to be the best I can be every day. I want to give the maximum every day, and I think this is the mentality that also brought me to where I am now. It doesn't. Maybe if this would happen, let's say a couple of years before or 10 years before, it would maybe be different. But I guess everything happens for a reason, and it happened in the moment when I already had a son, a family, and I think this is the key focus of me and for me every day. That makes everything in volleyball a lot easier, because if things go bad or things go good, when I come home, I reset. I have the family that keeps my mind on the positive side every day, and when I come to practice, I have a clear head that I can practice and do my maximum every day.
Fantastic. And as someone deeply involved in volleyball and the elite level of volleyball, where you see volleyball in the future, and your life in volleyball, or maybe also volleyball in general? What do you think volleyball will be in the future? Because volleyball has changed so much until 20 years. Volleyball is almost a very different game as in my times. What do you think about this?
Yeah, exactly. It's I remember the first time I came to Italy, to Trento. I remember there was still this idea of reading block everywhere. I remember how the game was so much slower. Of course, the power was there, but usually there were certain players who had so much power in the spike that could destroy the block or spike high on the fingers. But now everybody is doing it. Everybody has this power. So I guess in the last 10, 15 years, the physical part of the game has evolved a lot. The physical also preparation is on a much higher level than it used to be. And I guess you can see what this actually means. It means that with better physical performance, you can raise the level of the game, and also to stay healthy for longer, which is, I think, all the players want. They want to play as long as they can. So I guess now we are at the stage where the top players don't usually differentiate just by physical level, but they differentiate by the mental level. The mental part of the game is now more important for the games. How stable you are in the most difficult situation. In these situations, the best is usually the one that gets more responsibility, gets also paid more. And I guess this is now this top 5-10% of players differentiate just by this. So I think this is also the way it's gonna go. I don't know, with all the rules that they try to change to make the game more interesting. The game evolved to this a lot of these pushes and tips and power tips, and now they are taking it away for the VNL and in the next year. So it will be an interesting thing to see how the game will go from there. But for sure, like I said, I think the game in general is going in the direction of being as fast as possible, and I think this will be in the future years even more visible. Because now, let's say a couple of teams play like this, or let's say on the national team level, a lot of teams try to play on this level, but it's difficult to play this fast game because you need a lot of precision. or you need a lot of flexibility from the attackers. So we will see how it goes, but I guess this will be the trend, and when something new happens, when they put some new rules, or maybe they change the ball again, something will change for sure.
Very interesting what you're saying, because in the past, I don't know, 30, 40 years ago, volleyball has many schools of volleyball. You could see the Japanese volleyball school, the Russian volleyball school, the Yugoslavian volleyball school, the Brazilian volleyball school, and they were very different physically and the style of playing. Today, as you say, and I don't know, the top 10 volleyball teams, national teams, play very similar. Sometimes you can see a Ngapet player make things different, or some years ago, Giba from Brazil play a little different. But today, you can see that you play very similar. You're very tall, you're very powerful players. But what do you think in this scenario? Your team achieved so many things, your national team. So what do you think was your key or your formula to do this?
Yeah, like you said, this is, I think this happened, what you said, that the most top teams play similar type of volleyball happened because of I think also because of the statistics, because of the back end of volleyball, because everybody started to look at the numbers, and clearly the higher numbers were like, everybody looked at them and the numbers and say, okay, you need to play like this, that you achieve the higher numbers. And obviously, if you have higher numbers, you have more probability to win. So this is one thing that made everything in this, let's say, formula, that everybody tries to play this kind of game. But for us, I think the part that differentiates us from the others, that makes us different, I think, is this will to win, and also this brotherhood that we had. We were basically, for a long time, we were the same players, or let's say the key players of the national team were there for a really long time. And since the last couple of years, the older guys started to retire, but I guess this fire keeps on living in our national team jersey. It's the one thing that gives us the power to play against the top teams and make their let's say legs shake when they play against us. And I think it just makes us want to perform at the highest level. We give everything on the court, and maybe sometimes somebody can be superior to us, but they need to show it on the court. And I guess what we showed is that it's not so easy.
So interesting what you're saying. I remember always, for example, Coach Curley from the United States. He's not a big player. He's a small player for today's considerations. But he always said that he looks to the Brazilian, because he said the Brazilian showed him to be a great player, not being told. So the mentality to win, it's I think the most important. And also I think it's very special what you say, the brotherhood and the teams. Maybe sometimes you have very fantastic teams, professional teams with players from around the world, the best players, but you don't have the mystique,
the chemistry
to make this happen. Jan, I could speak with you hours and hours, but I know you have your appointment, your schedule. I wanted to thank you again for your time, for your kind words. I send you the best wishes for you, for your family, and a lot of success now as a player, later as a professional, as a father, I don't know, as you say in Slovenia. So I wanted to thank you, send you a big hug from Chile, from very far away, and thank you again for this time with me and my channels.
Of course, thank you so much for inviting me. It's been a pleasure, and we will see. Maybe we can do it again.
Bye. Many thanks.
Thank you.